And we are back. It is sadly now the final day of the Champions League group stage. But fear not, we will be bringing back the predictions series when we get to the knockout stages next year. Not only that, of course, if you have only been watching this series, do not forget that we do also do Premier League predictions every single week. And during the course of the World Cup, we will be doing daily predictions for every World Cup fixture. So make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out on any of that content. I am going to jump straight to the results from last night just to walk through all of the things that happened. And then we'll look ahead to tonight's games and make the predictions for the final group stage matches. As always, please do drop a like if you are enjoying this series, and let's just get straight into it. So these were the games that were played last night, and these were the results. And I think it's fair to jump straight to Group D because that is where the majority of the drama happened. Obviously, the massive upset of Frankfurt going to Sporting Lisbon and winning. I don't think many people saw that coming. I know Frankfurt have played well over the last couple of weeks, but given the fact that Sporting have been playing so well this season and the fact that Sporting won 3-0 away at Frankfurt, I think that is a massive upset, and congratulations to Frankfurt to qualifying for the next round of the Champions League with that win. However, it was even more dramatic over in Marseille, where a 1-1 draw would have got me 3 points, which would have been absolutely lovely. But sadly, we do end on 0. But that late goal from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg in the 95th minute for Spurs means that not only do Spurs top the group, but it also means that Marseille dropped out of the Europa League spot, meaning that Sporting Lisbon, who at full time were completely out of Europe altogether, now end up in the Europa League playoff against one of the teams that will finish second in the Europa League. So really, really crazy night of action down in Group D. But yeah, Spurs win the group, Frankfurt second, Sporting get the Europa League spot, and Marseille are out of Europe altogether. Other than that, I would say my only real complaints come from the Bayer Leverkusen-Bruges game, which was played. I don't really know how it was played so passively, given the fact that there were things on the line, but it was a 0-0 draw after I went for a 3-2. And obviously the combination of that draw for Leverkusen and the fact that Atletico did lose to Porto as predicted means that Bayer Leverkusen have also snuck into a Europa League playoff, and Atletico Madrid, for the first time in their history, drop out of Europe at the group stage. And my only other complaint I'm going to make, I'm not going to complain about the two results in Group A. I think they were justified predictions that just didn't go the way I planned. But I am going to complain about one I got right, which is the Bayern Munich-Inter Milan one. Because how Sadio Mane can do this, and the ball strike his hand here, where he's deliberately made a move towards the ball, how that can't be given as a handball to Inter Milan, I really don't know. So yeah, baffled that that wasn't given, and obviously it has resulted in Inter Milan not taking the lead and Bayern Munich getting the eventual win. We will never know what would have happened if that decision would have been given, but absolute madness from the referee in that not to give that, and then to give the justification that he's given it, he's not given it because Mane's protecting himself is, yeah, UEFA need to sort out the rules if that is what's going on right now. So anyway, all in all, matchday score of 3, season score of 57 with 1 day left of the group stage. I think a score of over 60 would be not too bad for 6 match days, but yeah, we'll see how we do on the final day. As always, please let me know how you got on in the comments, and let's look ahead to those final fixtures. So we start with Group E, and it is Chelsea up against Dynamo in the first one. Chelsea have already secured their spot in this group, so I think they are going to make some changes, but at the same time, off the back of the Brighton defeat, Chelsea are going to be looking for a good response, and I think this is a good opposition to come up against. They're also looking for revenge in the fact that Dynamo did beat them on the opening game of the group stages, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Chelsea. I think whatever side Chelsea put out, it's an opportunity for the players to prove themselves to Graham Potter, and of course, just to round off the group in style with a nice, easy win at home to Dynamo. Secondly, then, we have a game that does have some significance. It is AC Milan against Salzburg, and AC Milan do need to get the win in this one if they're going to secure their place in the next round of the Champions League. They are against the Salzburg side that are inconsistent, I think is the fair thing to say. They are a good team on their day, but those days haven't happened as much as they would have liked this season. Milan have, of course, been struggling for form themselves. They tend to go on this sort of mini runs where they have a load of good wins in Serie A, then a couple of bad results, both in Serie A and the Champions League. So they're on the back of a defeat to Torino at the weekend, so it's not going to be a cool-cut conclusion for this one. But I am going to back Milan to get the job done. They really should be beating a team like Salzburg, and I am going to go for a 4-1 win to Milan in that one there. Next up, we have a group where a lot is still on the line. We start with Real Madrid and Celtic, and after Rangers fully crashed out of Europe last night, Celtic are going to be doing everything in their power to make sure that that doesn't happen to them as well. However, Real Madrid still need to wrap up top spot as well, so I don't think Real Madrid are going to be making too many changes for this game. I still expect them to put out a strong team at home, again, to round off the group. So if Real Madrid play a strong team, with the greatest of respects to Celtic, they're not going to be capable of beating Real Madrid, in my opinion. So I'm going to go for 3-1 in that one. And then the absolutely crucial game, Shakhtar up against Leipzig. Given the fact that Shakhtar won the away leg, it means that all Shakhtar has to do tonight is beat Leipzig and they are into the next round. Leipzig only need a draw to prevent them from being knocked out, so I think it's going to be a very cagey affair. Leipzig aren't really known for their defensive style of play, so I think they'll have to go for it as well. Otherwise, they're running the risk of getting caught out. I think this is probably the toughest game to call tonight, but I am actually going to edge it in Shakhtar's favour. I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win and say that Shakhtar Donetsk progress to the next round of the Champions League and Leipzig drop down into the Europa League. But we'll see what happens in that one. That's probably the toughest one, like I said, to call. On to the next group, which sadly is incredibly boring because no matter what happens tonight, this group is already wrapped up. City finished first, Dortmund finished second, Sevilla finished third, Copenhagen finished fourth. There is absolutely nothing that can happen tonight that will change that. So I'm just going to say whatever team City put out, it's going to be 2-0 to Man City. And honestly, the way I've seen these two teams play in Europe over the last couple of weeks, I'm just going to go for 0-0 for Copenhagen and Borussia Dortmund. Like I said, with this group completely wrapped up, you can expect all four teams to make several changes or potentially not. So this is very much a toss of the coin and hope you get the prediction right as far as I'm concerned. And finally then, we have a group where there are massive connotations available. It all comes down to who can get the wins in the right places. Maccabi Haifa and Juventus respectively sit on 3 points each. Benfica and PSG respectively sit on 11 points each. So it is going to have to be a case where these teams are going to have to get the wins that they need to secure the spots that they want. Obviously, Maccabi Haifa and Juventus battling out for a Europa League spot. Benfica and PSG battling out for top spot in the group to potentially avoid tougher draws in the next round. So I don't think this is going to be just as easy as saying, oh, Benfica and PSG win these games because of how the season's gone. This group has gone this season. But I am going to give Benfica the benefit of the doubt and go for a strong 4-1 win. They have been my surprise package of this Champions League. I was aware of how good Napoli had been coming into this tournament, so it didn't surprise me to see them do so well. But it has surprised me to see how well Benfica have done so far in this competition. So I am going to back Benfica to get a resounding win against Maccabi Haifa. And as for the other game, I mean, Juventus, they're just fighting for pride at this point, but with PSG, of course, needing the win as well, I am going to go for the PSG win, and I'm going to go for 4-2. I think this is just going to be a game where anything can happen. We saw last week Juventus and Benfica when they played out the 4-3. I'm interested to see if Juventus do play the kids again. You know, the impact off the bench from especially the young English lad that came on really impressed me, so I hope to see him again against PSG tonight, but yeah, I think this is just going to be a very chaotic game. PSG are very good at scoring goals, but not very good at keeping it out of their own net. And at the moment, Juventus just have lost their way in terms of defence, but are still scoring the odd goal the other way as well. So this really could be anything. Honestly, there is more chance of you grabbing a dice and rolling it twice and getting the result of this one rather than just going for a flat-out prediction. But yeah, I'm going to go 4-2 PSG, and I'm going to have it stay the way it is in terms of that group. And that is going to be it For today, that is going to be it for the Champions League series up until the knockout stages begin in the new year. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting this series. As always, please let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen tonight. I'll be back for the next round of predictions when the Premier League resumes at the weekend. I will, of course, be back with my Manchester United reaction to the Europa League game tomorrow. I will see you for that one and one more. Thank you very much for watching.